Elephants are the largest existing land animals. 3 living species are currently recognized: the African bush elephant, the African forest elephant, and the Asian elephant. They are the only surviving members of the family Elephantidae and the order Proboscidae. Extinct relatives include mammoths and mastodons. Distinctive features of elephant include a long proboscis called a trunk, tusks, large ear flaps, pillar-like eggs, and tough but sensitive gray skin. The trunk is prehensile, bringing food and water to the mouth and the grasping objects. Tusks, which are derived from the incisor teeth, serve both as weapons and as tools for moving objects and digging. The large ear flaps assist in maintaining a constant body temperature as well as in communication. African elephants have larger ears and concave backs, whereas Asian elephants have smaller ears and convex or level backs. Elephants are scattered throughout sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia, and Southeast Asia, and are found in different habitats including savannas, forests, deserts, and marshes. They are herbivorous and they stay near water when it is accessible. They are considered to be keystone species due to their impact on their environments. Elephants have a fusion society in which multiple family groups come together to socialize. Females tend to live in family groups which can consist of one female with her calves or several related females with offspring. The leader of a female group, usually the oldest cow, is known as the matriarch. Males leave their family groups when they reach puberty and may live alone or with other males. Adult bulls mostly interact with family groups when looking for a mate. They enter a state of increased testosterone and aggression known as must, which helps them gain dominance over other males as well as reproductive success. Calves. So, the calves are the center of attention in their family groups and rely on their mothers for as long as 3 years. Elephants can live up to 70 years in the wild. They communicate by touch, sight, smell, and sound. Elephants use infrasound and seismic communication over long distance. Elephant intelligence has been compared with that of primates and cetaceans. They appear to have self-awareness and possibly show concern for dying and dead individuals of their kind. African bush elephants and Asian elephants are listed as endangered, and African forest elephants as critically endangered by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN. One of the biggest threats to elephants' population is the ivory trade, as the animals are poached for their ivory tusks. Other threats to wild elephants include habitat destruction and conflicts with local people. Elephants are used as working animals in Asia. In the past, they were used in war. Today, they are often controversially put on display in zoos or exploited for entertainment in circuses. Elephants have an iconic status in human culture and have been featured in art, folklore, religion, literature, and popular culture. The word elephant is based on the Latin word which is elephantis, elephant, which is the Latinized form of the Greek genitive, probably from a non-Indo-European language, likely Phoenician. It is attested in Greek. Liner, as in Mycenaean Greek, Homer used the Greek word to mean ivory, but after the time of Herodotus, it also referred to the animal. The word elephant appears in Middle English as olifant and was borrowed from Old French. If we will talk about the taxonomy of elephants, elephants belong to the family Elephantidae, the sole remaining family within the order Proboscidae. Their closest extant relatives are the Syrians and the Hyraxes, with which they share the clade within the superorder of Rotheria. Elephants and Syrians are further grouped in the clade. 3 species of living elephants are recognized as African bush elephant, forest elephant, Asian elephant. African elephants were traditionally considered a single species. So another extant genus of elephant is also recognized, which appears to have close affinities with and to have hybridized with African elephants. If we will talk about they are the world's largest land animal. So, do you think that elephants are smart? Yes, elephants are exceptionally smart creatures. They have the largest brain of any land animal and 3 times as many neurons as humans. While many of these neurons exist to control the elephant's large and dexterous body, these creatures have demonstrated their impressive mental capabilities time and time again. So, also known as elephant ecosystem engineers. Elephants shape their habitat in many ways. During the dry season, they use their tusks to dig up dry riverbeds and create watering holes many animals can drink from. So elephants do grieve, and they are one of the new and few animals which are similar to humans in mourning patterns. Believe it or not, elephants cry, they bury their dead and pay tribute to the bodies and to the bones. Baby animals that are separated from their mothers sound a cry, but humans are the only ones who shed tears. Pet owners often claim their dogs cry. Darwin thought monkeys and elephants wept, but modern scientists believe the only animal to really break down in tears is us. So their behavior are so diverse, from dogs sniffing and liking potential mates to elephants putting their trunks in each other's mouths. However, one animal kisses just like we do, the bonobo ape. There is not too surprising considering we share 98.7% of our DNA with this hairy cousin. So if we will talk about the elephants are constantly eating. Elephants eat grass, leaves, shrubs, fruits and roots depending on the season and their habitat. When it's partially dry, elephants will eat more woody parts of trees, shrubs like twigs, branches and barks. They need to eat up to 150 kg of food per day. That's around 375 tins of baked beans. Although half of this may leave the body undigested. Elephants eat so much that they can spend up to 3/4 of their day just eating. So they communicate through vibrations. Elephants communicate in a variety of ways, including sounds like trumpet calls. Some sounds are too low for people to hear. Body language, touch, and scent. They can also communicate through seismic signals, sounds that create vibrations in the ground, which may detect through their bones. So a baby elephant can stand within 20 minutes of birth. Yeah, elephant skulls are able to stand within 20 minutes of being born and can walk in 1 hour. After 2 days, they can keep up with the herd. This incredible survival technique means that herds of elephants can keep migrating to find food and water to thrive. An elephant never forgets. The elephant's temporal lobe, the area of the brain associated with memory, is larger and denser than that of people. Hence, the saying elephants never forget. Around 90% of African elephants have been wiped out in the past century, largely due to the ivory trade, leaving an estimated 415,000 wild elephants alive today. Asian elephants are also under threat, having declined by at least 50% in the last 3 generations. There are only around 48,000 to 52,000 individuals left in the wild as their habitat changes, fragments, and is lost to human settlements and agriculture. Populations of Asian elephants are finding it harder to follow their traditional migration routes to reach water, feeding and breeding grounds, and they are coming into often dangerous contact with people. Elephants, they have got thick skin. An elephant's skin is 2.5 centimeters thick in most places. The folds and wrinkles in their skin can retain up to 10 times more water than flat skin does, which helps to cool them down. They keep their skin clean and protect themselves from sunburn by taking regular dust and mud baths. Elephants' tusks are actually enlarged incisor teeth, which first appear when elephants are around 2 years old. Tusks continue growing throughout their lives. Tusks are used to help with feeding, prizing bark of trees, or digging up roots, or as a defense when fighting, but these beautiful tusks often cause elephants danger. They are made from ivory, a much desired object. Their trunks have made skills. Elephants have around 150,000 muscle units in their trunk. Their trunks are perhaps the most sensitive organ found in any mammal. Elephants use their trunks to suck up water to drink. It can contain up to 8 liters of water. They also use their trunks as a snorkel when swimming. There are 3 species of elephant: African savanna, we say bush also, African bush, African forest, and Asian. The ears of African elephants are much larger than their cousins and are described as being shaped like the African continent, whereas the ears of Asian elephants are shaped like the Indian subcontinent. So if we will talk about the internal system, the brain of an elephant weighs 4.5 to 5.5 kg. Suppose the brain is 10 pound to 12 pound compared to 1.6 kg for a human brain. So human brain is 4 pound and the brain of an elephant is 10 to 12 pound. It is the largest of all terrestrial mammals. While the elephant brain is larger overall, it is proportionally smaller than the human brain. At birth, an elephant's brain already weighs 30 to 40% of its adult weight. The cerebrum and cerebellum are well developed, and the temporal lobes are so large that they bulge out laterally. Their temporal lobes are proportionally large than in other animals, including humans. The throat of an elephant appears to contain a pouch where it can store water for later use. So the heart of an elephant weighs 12 to 21 kg. Its apex has 2 pointed ends, an unusual trait among mammals. In addition, the ventricles of the heart spill towards the top, a trait also found in sirenians when upright. The elephant's heart beats around 28 beats per minute. Yeah, this is amazing that the heartbeat is 28 beats per minute. Actually speeds up to 35 beats when it lays down. So elephants are herbivorous and will eat leaves, twigs, fruit, bark, grass, and roots. African elephant mostly browse, while African elephants mainly graze. They can eat as much as 300 kg of food and drink 40 liters of water in a day. Elephants tend to stay near water sources. Their morning, afternoon, and nighttime feeding sessions. At midday, elephants rest under trees and may doze off while standing. Sleeping occurs at night while the animal is laying down. Elephant average 3 to 4 hours of sleep per day. Both males and family groups typically move no more than 20 kilometers a day. But distances as far as 150 kilometers have been recorded in the Etosha region of Namibia. Elephants go on seasonal migrations in response to changes in environmental conditions. Because of their large size, elephants have a huge impact on their environments and are considered keystone species. Their habit of uprooting trees and undergrowth can transform savanna into grasslands. smaller herbivores can access trees moved down by elephants. Elephants are generally gregarious animals. African bush elephants in particular have a complex, stratified social structure. Female elephants spend their entire lives in tight-knit matrilineal family groups. They are led by which is often the eldest female. She the name is matriarch. She remains leader of the group until death. Adult males live separate lives. As he matures, a bull associates more with outside males or even other families. So, gestation in elephants typically lasts between 1.5 and 2 years, and the female will not give birth again for at least 4 years. The relatively long pregnancy is supported by several corpus luteums and gives the fetus more time to develop, particularly the brain and trunk. Elephants communicate in various ways. Individuals greet one another by touching each other on the mouth, temporal glands, and genitals. This allows them to pick up chemical cues. Older elephants use trunks, slaps, kicks, and shoves to control younger ones. Touching is especially important for mother-calf communication. When moving, elephant mothers will touch their calves with their trunks or feet when side by side, or with their tails if the calf is behind them. A calf will press against its mother front legs to signal it wants to rest, and will touch her breast or leg when it wants to suckle. Elephants produce several vocalizations, some of which pass through the trunk, for both short and long range communication. This includes trumpeting, bellowing, roaring, growling, barking, snorting, and rumbling. Elephants can produce infrasonic rumbles. For Asian elephants, these calls have a frequency of 14 to 24 Hz, which sounds pressure levels of 85 to 90 dB and last 10 to 15 seconds. For African elephants, calls range from 15 to 35 Hz with sound pressure levels as high as 117 dB, allowing communication for many kilometers, possibly over 10 kilometers. African elephants receive at least some legal protection in every country where they are found. Successful conservation efforts in certain areas have led to high population densities, while failures have led to declines as high as 70% or more of the course of 10 years. As of 2008, local numbers were controlled by contraception or translocation. Large-scale cullings stopped in the late 80s and early 90s. In 1989, the African elephant was listed under Appendix by the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, making trade illegal. So, in some countries, sport hunting of the animals is legal. Botswana, Cameroon, Gabon, Mozambique, Namibia, South Africa, Tanzania, Zambia, and Zimbabwe have export codes for elephant trophies. In 2020, the IUCN listed the Asian elephant as endangered due to the population declining by half over the last 3 generations. Asian elephants once ranged from Western to East Asia and south to Sumatra and Java. It is now extinct in these areas, and current range of Asian elephants is highly fragmented. Other threats to elephants include habitat destruction and fragmentation. The Asian elephant lives in areas with some of the highest human populations and may be confined to small islands or forests among human-dominated landscapes. Elephants commonly trample and consume crops, which contributes to conflicts with humans. And both elephants and humans have died by the hundreds as a result. Mitigating these conflicts is important for conservation. Guarding with defense tools have been found to be effective in preventing crop raiding by elephants. Less effective tactics include beehive and electric fences. So if we will talk about the working animals have been working animals since the least the Indus Valley civilization over 4,000 years ago, and continue to be used in modern times. There were 13,000 to 16,000 working elephants employed in Asia in 2000. These animals are typically captured from the wild when they are 10 to 20 years old, when they are both more trainable and can work for more years. They were traditionally captured with traps and lassos, but since 1950, tranquilizers have been used. Individuals of the Asian species have been often trained as working animals. Asian elephants are used to carry and pull both objects and people in and out of areas, as well as lead people in religious celebrations. They are valued over mechanized tools as they can perform the same tasks but in more difficult terrain with strength, memory, and delicacy. Elephants can live over 30 commands. Most bulls are difficult and dangerous to work with, and so are chained up until their condition passes. In India, many working elephants are alleged to have been subject to abuse. They and other captive elephants are thus protected under the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act of 1960. In both Myanmar and Thailand, deforestation and other economic factors have resulted in sizable populations of unemployed elephants, resulting in health problems for the elephants themselves, as well as economic and safety problems for the people amongst whom they live. The practice of working elephants has also been attempted in Africa. The taming of African elephants in the Belgian Congo began by Degree of Leopold of Belgium during the 19th century and continues to the present with the Epi Elephant Domestication Center. So if we talk about the warfare, historically elephants were considered formidable instruments of war. They were described in Sanskrit texts as far back as 1500 BC from South Asia, and use of elephants in warfare spread west to Persia and east to Southeast Asia. The Persians used them during the Achaemenid Empire between the 16th to 4th centuries, while Southeast Asian states first used war elephants possibly as early as the 5th century and continued to the 20th century. War elephants were also employed in the Mediterranean and North Africa throughout the classical period since the reign of Ptolemy II in Egypt. So their heads and sides were equipped with armor. The trunk may have had a sword tied to it, and tusks were sometimes covered, sharpened iron or brass. Trained elephants would attack both humans and horses with their tusks. They might have grasped an enemy soldier with the trunk and tossed him to their mahout, or pinned the soldier to the ground and speared him. Some shortcomings of war elephants include their great visibility, which made them easy to target and limited compared to horses. So, Great achieved victory over armies with war elephants by having his soldiers injure the trunk and legs of animals, which caused them to panic and become uncontrollable. So, if we talk about the zoos and circuses, elephants have traditionally been a major part of zoos and circuses around the world. In circuses, they have trained to perform tricks. The most famous circus elephant was probably Jumbo in 1861 to 1885, who was a major attraction in the Barnum and Bailey circus. These animals do not reproduce well in captivity due to the difficulty of handling musk bulls and limited understanding of female cycles. Asian elephants were always more common than their African counterparts in modern zoos and circuses. Asian elephant in 1975, imports of the species almost stopped by the end of 1980s. Subsequently, the US received many captive African elephants from Zimbabwe, which had an overabundance of the animals. Keeping animals in zoos have met with some controversy. Proponents of zoos argue that they allow easy access to the animals and provide fun and knowledge for preserving their natural habitats. as well as safekeeping for the species. Opponents claim that animals in zoos are under physical and mental stress. Elephants have been recorded displaying stereotypical behaviors in the form of wobbling the body or head and pacing the same route both forward and backwards. This has been observed in 54% of individuals in UK zoos. Elephants in European zoos appears to have shorter lifespans than their wild counterparts at only 17 years, although other studies suggest that zoo elephants live just as long. The use of elephants in circuses has also been controversial. The Humane Society of the United States has accused circuses of mistreating and distressing their animals. In testimony to a U.S. federal court in 2009, Barnum and Bailey Circus CEO Kenneth Feld acknowledged that circus elephants are struck behind their ears, under their chins and on their legs with metal-tipped prods called bullhooks or anchors. So elephants can exhibit bouts of aggressive behavior and engage in destructive actions against humans. In Africa, groups of adolescent elephants damaged homes in villages after culling in the 1970 and 1980. Because of the timing, these attacks have been interpreted as vindictive in parts of India. Male elephants have entered villages at night, destroying homes and killing people. From 2000 to 2004, 300 people died in Jharkhand and in Assam. 239 people were reportedly killed between 2001 and 2006 throughout the country. 1,500 people were killed by elephants between 2019 and 2022, which led to 300 elephants being killed in kind. Local people have reported their belief that some elephants were drunk during their attacks, though officials have disputed this. Purportedly drunk elephants attacked an Indian village in December 2002, killing 6 people, which led to the retaliatory slaughter of about 200 elephants by local. So in Western popular culture, elephants symbolize the exotic, especially since, as with the giraffe and rhinoceros, there are no similar animals familiar to Western audiences. As character, elephants are most common in children's stories where they are portrayed positively. They are typically surrogates for human with ideal human values. Many stories tell of isolated young elephants returning to or finding a family, such as the elephant's child from Yard Kipling. So also Catherine and Jackson, the saggy baggy elephant. Other elephant heroes given human qualities include Jean D. Barber, David Mookie Elmer, and Dr. C.S. Horton. Several cultural references emphasize the elephant size and strangeness. For instance, a white elephant is a byword for something that is weird, unwanted, and have no value. The expression elephant in the room refers to something that is being ignored but ultimately must be addressed. The story of the blind man and an elephant involves blind men touching different parts of an elephant and trying to figure out what it is.